We the threat of the mountains come forth from the north. With the hunger of oceans come forth from the west.
Recently, or a year ago or maybe more, you employed Gunnar Saarmann, who's very well known as a rider for Metal Hammer Germany.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
It's working out good. He adapted to Marseille pretty well, except for weather. He hates it.
He's got a huge beard, so it's
Yeah.
you know?
But no, he's working well. It's good to have, like, actually the last two person we hired were Germans. Like Andreas Siegel, that used to work at Nuclear Blast for 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And Gunnar Saarmann is also German, because that brings some organization to the French chaos.
Yeah. So you've noticed the difference between having the
Oh
organized
yeah,
Germans
totally,
there, yeah?
totally. You know what? You ask. The best example I can give. We had posters to send out for that tour. I don't remember which band it was for, and he was supposed to send 500 posters to that venue. A French guy would have said, "Okay, there's about 1,000 posters in that stack. I'm going to take half and send it." That's the way I would have done it. Gunnar was counting them
Counting
one
each
by
one out,
one.
yeah.
You ask a German to send 500, he sends 500.
So German efficiency has been beneficial to
Yeah, that's why I came in and like, Gunnar, please just cut it in two, measure it if you want, take it in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's actually good to have people like that. That you know they are organized, because I'm not an organized person. So that's why, well, 3 of the main people in the company are 2 German and 1 Dutch.
Okay. As far as you talk about things like where you're organising the kind of higher level stuff, so a band like Ghost Brigade, who are an example of you guys taking them from the beginning and building up to a certain point now, they've just been announced as the main support for Paradise Lost upcoming European tour. Is that down to you, or do they have somebody who's management taking care of them, or is it just like a brown envelope on their table?
No, it's...
you don't do that?
With Ghost Brigade, it's just... I'm very proud of our band, because it's the only band that we have been able to take from ground zero. And we are now officially successful in Germany, in Finland, and we're getting there in England. So there's a few countries where it's not successful yet, but we were able to break that band in Germany. That's the first time it ever happened to us, because we've been better at finding bands that were already having a small underground name like Shooter or Vatane and bring them to the next level. But we didn't find them at ground zero. Ghost Brigade is we really found them like on the demo stage, so I'm really proud of that. And it just, when everything goes right with a band, opportunities are showing themselves. Like, the album got released, the album was great, we had huge reviews in Germany, like #1 in Soundcheck, etc. When they played gigs, everybody loved it. It was all over on Facebook. People from the industry say they loved it. Even guys from Roadrunner were shouting at the boss for not signing the band when they submitted it. That's true. And all of a sudden I get a phone call from Andy Farrow, the manager of Paradise Lost, Opeth and Catatonia. I was like, okay, we love that band, we want them on the tour. Of course there's money involved in tour support and negotiation after that, but it just, we didn't have to seek the opportunity. The opportunity came to you, it came to us. So that's really good. It's like, this band, everything is happening. Everything is happening.
Okay, and that brings me to another point, which is you talk about they're like a band who came from ground zero up to where they are now, and you'd signed previously established acts. If you take a band who are in the middle, which is a perfect example is Vatane, who had a very strong and cult underground following, and then you came in and took the band on, firstly in Europe, but you immediately did the Celtic Frost and Creator tour, which I imagine was
super expensive.
Right. Okay.
Super expensive.
That's why you're staying in a hotel like this, yeah. So I mean, but that thing's an example of a mid-level band that you, or not mid-level, but a band that you take on, and you're still willing to put in like the hard work and also the finances to bring them up to another level. Okay.
But you remember Vatane, you remember Ghost Brigade, but you mentioned 2 of the only success we had in the last years. I mean, if you think about it, it's maybe 1 band out of 10 that works out that well. I could name 10 bands, but we put efforts in and money in, we didn't break at all, and we lost money on. So Vatane is a good, it's also the best example. Ghost Brigade is the band we broke from ground zero to what they are now. Vatane is different, like they were already having a small name in the underground, and we brought them really to the higher level. But the band did everything right, we pushed it as well, live performances are great, the album was great. It's easy to work like that, it's easy.
I've got a point then. You talk about like how so few bands If you sign 10, maybe one will break through.
Yeah.
Back in the early days, in the early 90s, when death metal was breaking through, and you had a label like Roadrunner who signed a lot of bands, there were some bands who were considered, I won't say failures, but not successes. Like, let's say, where they would sign an Obituary and make them huge. They would sign a Gorguts, who wouldn't be so huge.
Yeah.
But do you think the level that Gorguts would have reached back then, as a failure, let's say, is something that
nowadays would be considered a success?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And something you mentioned.
I mean, Obituary nowadays sells what Gorguts used to sell back in the day.
So back in the day,
let's say Obituary is doing probably about 20,000 SoundScan in the US and 15 to 20,000 in Europe. So we're talking about 35 to 40,000 worldwide. Back in the day, I remind you, Obituary, like what was the album? The Incomplete was the first death metal album to break the 100,000 copies sold barrier. 100,000.
In the States?
I think it was in the States only. I'm not sure it was in the States worldwide, but I think it was in the States.
Yeah.
And now they're doing 40 worldwide.
So that's how much things have changed in that time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean, if that's how it was then compared to now, how does a label make money these days? Or do they just make money but just less?
We make a lot less money. The golden days are gone. We make a lot of money. We're a lot more careful. We try to sign bands where we're not going to lose money on. We're not taking any risk. And also you cut down costs. I mean, you save a little bit on packaging. You save a little bit on production because everybody has to adapt. Like the magazine, they used to charge, let's say, that much for a page, for an advertisement page, but now they can't get the same money from us. It's impossible. Same thing with producer. They used to charge insane amount of money to produce an album, and now they have to cut down costs as well because the labels just can't afford it anymore.
So if we don't want to end on a particularly low point, so I got to ask you, in that case, how are you going to get your own private little island in the Bahamas?
Like I said, it's a long-term plan. We'll see about that. No, but really, basically, I think that I call it the Highlander effect. Every label that dies, every head that is chopped, makes the surviving one stronger.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, now it's a game of survival. Whoever is going to come out alive for the next 2 or 3 years is going to remain for a long time.
So will Season Mist be here in 10 years' time?
That's the plan. We'll see.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Let's in 10 years do an anniversary interview.
Thank you, Paul.
No problem.